Hey everyone, welcome back to Gilded Reviews. Today we are taking a look at the recently released Wizard of Legend from developer Contingent 99. Wizard of Legend is a roguelike that has a lot of great things going for it. It's fast and the combat mechanics are well designed, but for now I can't recommend this title, at least at full price. Let's get this started with the art, animation, and sound. The soundtrack is great, but what I was really impressed with are the sound cues for enemies. This small development team has created some fantastic alerts that really let you know what's about to happen. Everything has a sound effect, from the enemies drawing their bows to the clicking of spearmen getting ready to attack. Same goes for the graphics and animation. They are all just well done. Each spell has its own unique visual effects that really add to the game. Just to let you guys know, the game is having some problems with 144Hz monitors. There's already a quick fix and the developers are aware of the issue, so I am sure a patch will come soon. Let's go over some of the basic features this title has to offer. Currently you have 4 skill slots that you fill with whatever spell you can. You have a basic attack, a dash, a basic skill, and a signature skill. You can equip these spells at your base along with armor and a single relic. The armor is a nice little addition, with each robe increasing a specific set of stats. During the run, if you come across other skills, the game gives you 2 empty slots to put them in, giving you a total of 6 skills when you are fully equipped. You can also find relics. These relics are random, but the general idea is to increase your stats somewhat to make the game a little easier, at least until you die. Currently there are 4 bosses, including the final boss. The first 3 bosses have 2 levels to get through before you can fight them. Each level has 3 friendly NPCs. You will always have someone that sells skills and a person that sells relics and health potions. The third NPC is random and can be anything from a demon giving cursed relics to a piñata that, if you can destroy it, will give you something decent. There are a few other NPCs that can get cycled in as well. Altogether, I think there are only about 5 or 6, including the relic and skill salesman. You buy stuff from vendors with gold you found during the run. Once you die, all your gold and anything you found or bought during the run will disappear. The only things that carry over after death are crystals and the stuff you equip at your base. Crystals give you the opportunity to buy new skills, armor, and relics in town to keep and equip as you wish. This is the game's upgrade system, keeping your character progressing as you play. The only exception I have found to this is the skill that the last boss from each set of stages drops. This is added to your inventory and you are allowed to equip it back at your base. At the end of each level, there is a mini boss that, if defeated, will grant you access to the next area. If you defeat the final boss of that zone, you can move on to the next set of levels. The second zone will be much harder than the first. Enemies will have new attacks and more health, but hopefully you will have acquired enough relics and upgraded skills to defeat them. Moving on, let's talk about the good stuff. The reason why you might want to pick this title up. First off, the combat is a blast. It really requires you to pay attention. The game is heavily based on skill, forcing you to watch your opponents, listen for audio cues, and dodge when you need to. This, combined with the massive amount of spells the game has to offer, makes the combat very enjoyable. Speaking of the spells, collecting them and exploring the different combinations has been a lot of fun. You can synergize your attacks together to create massive combos, and to top it off, when your signature meter fills up, you unleash a devastating move. This entire system is great. Playing around with the different skills to maximize your DPS, stuns, or knockbacks is easily this game's best feature. Secondly, Wizard of Legend offers some great couch co-op, but unfortunately it does not support online co-op. Now, there is an external program you can download called Parsec that will enable the ability to play online. I have not tested this program myself, so use it at your own risk. I just found it through research for the game. And sadly guys, that is really about it. I have explored the game thoroughly, and there are just way too many missed opportunities to recommend this title at full price. Let's go ahead and get into some of those issues now, so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, the game doesn't give you the best playground to test your skills. The maps, enemies, and bosses are all fairly bland and repetitive. The maps are essentially all the same with a different tile set. I mean, you can tell it's randomly generated, but unfortunately there is no real variation from room to room, or even level to level. The map might change from ice to fire, but the layout, enemy placement, and rooms are all roughly the same. This is very common for these types of games. I mean, many rooms in The Binding of Isaac were similar. The difference was they had a lot of other things going on, from hidden areas to side rooms that offered the player choices, making each run a little different. There is nothing like that here. It just feels like the same level over and over again. It would have been nice to see special rooms that are designed differently than the rest of the game. Enemies are fine aesthetic-wise, and the final bosses for each area have enough skills to make the fight entertaining at first, but once you have seen each boss 2 or 3 times, their attack patterns and pathing gets very easy to pick out, especially for the mini-bosses. To top it off, there are only a few types of enemies. They do increase in skill as you progress past the bosses, but they are still essentially all the same. The last issue I have stems from the Relic System, and this being a roguelike. A roguelike is built on very simple mechanics and rules. First and foremost, replayability. If you have a title that kills your progress when you die, you want a reason to start over. In this title, that just isn't here. The majority of your success comes from how well you dodge, synergize your attacks, and charge your signature move. Yes, there is some randomness to the relics, it just doesn't change the game much. In most roguelikes, the items you find will completely change how you play. In Wizard of Legend, once you have a set build, there's not much incentive to switch it up. Let's turn this into a quick list so you guys can get a better overview of Wizard of Legend. For the pros, we have some awesome spell visuals, great sound cues, smooth and engaging combat, a fantastic spell and combo system, and lastly, it offers couch co-op. And on the con side, we have repetitive maps, little enemy variation, subpar roguelike mechanics, random drops just simply don't change the game enough, and lastly, there is little replayability after you beat the final boss. A few things here. The developers have said they are releasing a new zone with another boss soon. This is great, and I hope they introduce some special rooms to really help make each run unique. The game could also use a rework of the Relic system. Getting relics that really change how your skills work would go a long way to increase replayability, like one that adds fire wave to wind attacks, or something like that. Anything that makes each run different. Overall, this title is not bad, and the combat can be a tremendous amount of fun. The real issue is that I am bored after 10 hours, and at full price, I just don't think it's worth it. However, if you find this title on sale and are looking for a new roguelike experience, I would recommend picking it up. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. I hated the idea of roguelikes when I first heard about them, but after playing Rogue Legacy and The Binding of Isaac, I started to see their appeal. What roguelikes have you played, and which one is your favorite? For me, I really enjoy the freedom and RPG elements of Streets of Rogue. Anyhow, thanks again. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, or checking out some of our other reviews. It really helps us out.